Hey everybody, Matty here with Altcoin Buzz. Happy Friday and TGIF. Charlie Lee, the father of Litecoin, is in the news and he is bullish about Bitcoin. We'll talk about that as well as the fact that Bitcoin is on its fourth longest streak above $10,000. That's not really a stat that you've likely heard. However, it is true and it is encouraging. Safe Haven is in the news with regards to Inherity updates. We'll take a look at that. We'll be discussing the results of the Sharing Shop pilot. There's some data now and there's some discussion points to go over. We'll also be discussing Cardano ADA Daedalus flight release and updates relating to that project. Icon has also been absolutely soaring. They're up over 16% on the day. As you can see, they've been performing very, very well. We'll be discussing the mysterious and perhaps anonymous individual who purportedly staked 10 million ICX. Guys, if you like this kind of content, Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency, be sure to like and subscribe. Okay, as always, let's kick things off with a brief look at the market. We're down just a little bit today, down 0.1% on the day, so market at $375.0 billion total market cap. We may as well be flat. Projects, however, down a percentage point or two. As you can see, Bitcoin right now down 0.9%, XRP, Ethereum down a percentage point or two as well. Chainlink, they're really coming down off their high. They're down, unfortunately, 12.5%, currently at $14.40. And as you can see, on the whole, projects are down a little bit. There are some exceptions further down the list, of course. Bitcoin now again kind of in the middle of that 11 to 12K range, currently sitting at $11,685 with a dominance that's still low, 57.5%. So Mr. Charlie Lee is bullish about Bitcoin. What else is new? At Satoshi Light here on Twitter with the following nice little tweet, I would say. The most amazing thing about Satoshi's invention is that Bitcoin will continue on forever. Blocks will continue at the same rate because it's self-adjusting to any hash rate changes. The incentive structure and game theory is so simple yet so brilliant. And take a look at this image here that he includes in the tweet. You never actually own a Bitcoin. You merely look after it for the next generation. You know, and I'm not saying that generational kind of inheritance or divestment is at the top of mind, but it is something that I think, you know, would flow naturally. We are here in this space. We're early. We're all pioneers. It stands to reason that this would benefit future generations for those of us that are going to be having kids and whatnot. So it's an interesting and I think a little bit of a heartwarming perspective, to say the least. He's excited about Bitcoin for a lot of different reasons. This is likely one of them on cryptoslate.com. It's actually the fourth longest streak that we're currently in of Bitcoin sitting above $10,000. So the fourth longest streak in all of Bitcoin's history. So this statistic is kind of self-explanatory. Throughout its relatively young history, Bitcoin has not stayed above the pivotal 10K mark level for many prolonged periods. And in the last several weeks, the top crypto has remained relatively stable above 10K. Again, I think the 12K kind of point of resistance has become the new psychological barrier, although it's also encouraging to know that we did tiptoe above that, at least briefly. So according to data from the pseudonymous analyst Saka, the recent uptrend is the fourth longest period that Bitcoin stayed above 10K. You can take a look at some of these other periods here. The 30th of November 2017. So these are number of days, by the way, 63 days that Bitcoin stayed above $10,000. Consecutive days, that's important. So that's the mark to beat right now, 63 days. And as you can see here, July 27th of 2020, we're currently at a little bit less than half of that at 24 days. Other notable periods were July of 2019 and June of 2019. So those were 28 days and 25 days respectively. I guess we'll be, hopefully, if we stay above 10K for a couple more days, we're going to be taking now on the mantle of the third consecutive streak above 10K, because we'll very soon be taking over the number of days from June of 2019. Give it a couple more days and we'll be at 26. I find that very interesting personally. I would have expected Bitcoin to have been above 10K for much longer than 63 days. At least it feels that way. I never took a deep dive into the data, but sometimes numbers surprise you. So a very interesting observation. Okay, moving right along, we're discussing Safe Haven and Inherity updates. Logino Dujardin of Safe Haven at Logino D had the following to say: "We promise that Inherity will have integrity as we work with Europe's #1 ethical hacking platform, boasting 15,000 and more researchers to maintain a constant audit of our platform over a 24-month period. And more details are going to be available in the following days. Inherity at Inherity_com tweeting the following: attention, security guidelines and user privacy whilst using Inherity Community Edition. Clicking on this brings you to the Medium article. You can check that out. Security guidelines and user privacy whilst using Inherity Community Edition, Inherity CE. It's a 5-minute read. As you probably know already, our first live edition of Inherity, the world's first 100% multi-layer decentralized inheritance platform, is web browser client-based driven, using JavaScript libraries that are built in order to give our users a secure way of transferring digital assets while holding custody of their assets. Nevertheless, as it is client-based, our users should take some security recommendations into considerations. They enumerate those security considerations. They include an antivirus, firewall, browser recommendations. Specifically, they discuss whether or not Google Chrome is the one you want to go with, the Comet Wallet extension, and Safe ID. So you guys can check out these guidelines. It's always nice to have, transparent communication and recommendations of this sort. It's the sort of thing I appreciate, at least speaking for myself. Okay, also in the news, we have ShareRing today, and we have the results of the ShareRing Shop pilot, which are now being discussed at ShareRing Global on Twitter, tweeting the following a couple days ago: as we promised for the imminent ShareRing Shop expansion into Thailand in Q3, we have released an exciting update of our successful pilot in Southeast Melbourne. You can read more about that here. Okay, so what to know about? Well, the trial was launched in Melbourne, Australia, covered about 51,000 households to prepare for our expansion of the service to Thailand in Q3, spearheaded by 2 large partners in the region. And ShareRing Shop was well received by the Melbourne residents, with orders showing an impressive increase following our marketing campaign reaching over 100,000 residents in the area. So they go on to describe some of the KPIs that allow them to justify what they feel was a successful pilot. They did discuss their involvement as far as sensitivities to the current COVID situation, how they dealt with that. And next up actually is going to be Thailand in Q3. So if you'd like to read more about some of the features associated with the ShareRing Shop, you can check out this article in full. We'll link to it, of course, in the description below. But again, as they kind of close off here, look out for ShareRing's Thailand rollout that is coming soon. Stay tuned for our next ShareRing Shop update. We've incorporated some great feedback from our Melbourne pilot and are fully prepared to take Thailand by storm and disrupt the current competitors, so-called, in the space. And you can follow them and join their social media as well as their community with all the links that are found at the bottom of this article. All right, let's now discuss Cardano ADA's dataless flight release here at Input Output HK on Twitter. New dataless flight release. This version includes a number of new features for you to test out, including manual ADA transfer from Byron legacy wallets and restoration of Yoroi Shelley wallets. It also introduces an off-chain data aggregation solution to improve fetching stake pools. And Emurgo here has forged a partnership with community member adapools.org. This was made possible by the following here: Cardanians.io at Cardanians_IO on Twitter. This is for Yoroi staking data. Also updating here is Emurgo at Emurgo_IO. Emurgo has forged a partnership with community member adapools.org, again by Cardanians.io, for Yoroi staking data. Yoroi wallet will soon display real-time data for the Cardano blockchain network, stake pools, transactions, and more. You can read more about that here on Emurgo.io. And as I mentioned, Icon is on a tear despite a down market, up just under 14% on the day to about 55 cents US. And here in Icon's 29th newsletter, they asked who staked that 10 million ICX. There are some pretty impressive figures here that they go over. For example, 57.5% of the circulating supply of ICX is staked versus 38.4% at the end of 2019. People are therefore taking advantage of this feature. The upward trend continues, and we believe it shows long-term confidence in ICX. Yeah, I think that's a fair conclusion that is supported by those numbers. One PREP self-delegated almost 10 million ICX. More on that in just a second. Some other updates here that you can take a look at. But dear Iconis, the last couple of weeks have been interesting in the crypto industry, to say the least, and we've witnessed some dramatic runs with DeFi projects and also equally epic failures, unfortunately. In the midst of all the craziness, Icon has been quietly gaining healthy traction. Yet, the best news is still to come, as our very own Ricky Dodds puts it back on Twitter, and the next few months will be fire. So, who staked that 10 million ICX? Neoply has become the number 7 PREP, and Neoply is an investment arm of NeoWiz, a Kosdaq listed gaming company in Korea. Read their official announcement via the link below. By the way, this is a tweet from @HelloIconWorld. Icon Foundation or its affiliates had no part in this event. This is organic and we love it. So to break that down a little bit, one PREP team took the Icon community by surprise and self-delegated almost 10 million ICX. Yes, that's more than $5 million worth of ICX at once. And as mentioned above, the Icon Foundation has no part in this event. We know for a fact that even more larger teams and companies are considering becoming Icon PREP. So let's welcome these when they do. And I don't know, I find it almost a little bit surprising the fact that I'm not surprised. Like, to me, this makes sense. Very much I feel 2020, despite all of the ups and downs and the craziness kind of globally and the different circumstances we've seen this year, 2020 is really, as far as cryptocurrency goes, the year of DeFi and the year of APY staking. So if you're a larger, whether it's a company or investment firm or what have you, and if you have confidence in a project, in their team, in their leadership, and in their direction, yeah, you're going to invest in what it is they're putting out there, whether it's their coin or their token, and you may as well stake it because you're getting an incredible APY rate. Not only that, but you're investing in an appreciating asset. So not only are you gaining that APY, but the underlying investment is going to be worth more at the end of the day whenever it is you remove or extract that investment sum. So it doesn't surprise me all that much. There's a lot else that's happening in the Icon community. Again, check out the newsletter for more information. I would also encourage you to follow @IconWorld, HelloIconWorld actually, on Twitter. They put out some good information. You can stay up to date with the project and with the latest. That about wraps it up for today, everybody. Hey, do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels and keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell to receive notifications if you guys enjoyed today's video. Best of luck if you do choose to invest on this Friday. But TJF, everybody, have a great one. Stay safe out there. And as always, we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.